Hey boys and girls, welcome to math. Today we are going to be talking about elapsed time to the hour. And before we get started, I want to go over the term elapsed. Elapsed means how much time has passed from the beginning to the end. So when we're talking about elapsed time, we need to know what time are we starting at and what time are we ending at. So we're going to be using this clock here to help us solve some elapsed time. The first thing that we need to review is the hour hand and the minute hand. Now some of us are having trouble remembering which hand is the hour hand and which hand is the minute hand. So there's a little trick that I learned. If you were to draw an arrow under the word hour, and draw an arrow under the word minute, you would see that the hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. So when you're thinking about telling time, always remember that we read the hour hand first, which is the short hand, and we read the minute hand second, which is the long hand. So we're going to be using this clock here to help us tell elapsed time. The first thing that we are going to do is read our story problem. Hussein is our character in our story today. And it says, Hussein's game starts at 7 o'clock and ends at 9 o'clock. How much time will pass at his game? So in our problem today, we have a beginning time. Hussein's game starts at 7 o'clock. So on my board over here, I'm going to write my start time will be 7 o'clock. And his game will end at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to put my ending time as well. Now, some of us can easily count up to see how many hours will pass during his game. But for us that are like Miss Baker and we need a visual, this clock will help us do that. So what I'm going to do first is set my clock to the time that his game begins, which is 7 o'clock. So I know that I need to put my hour hand, which is my shorthand, on the 7. And my minute hand up at the 8. This shows 7 o'clock. Now what I'm going to do is move my hand around the clock until I get to 9 o'clock. And we're going to count how many times did I make it around the clock, which would be 1 hour, until I get to 9 o'clock. So start with me. This is 7. If I were to move our minute hand all the way around our clock to 8 o'clock, that would be 1 hour. Now remember, I got to get my time to 9 o'clock here. If it goes all the way around the clock one more time, that's 2 hours. So from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Hussein has been at his game for 2 hours. Let's do another one. Let me erase my times here. We're going to have a different starting time and a different ending time, which means that our elapsed time is going to be different. Our next problem says, Fatima started school at 8 o'clock a.m. Remember, a.m. is in the morning. And ended school at 3 o'clock p.m., which is in the afternoon. How much time did she spend at school? What is my starting time? Yes, 8 a.m. So on my board over here, I need to put my start time is 8 o'clock. And the a.m. part is very important. So I'm going to include that as well. And our ending time is at 3 o'clock p.m. So I'm going to write that on our ending time here. And the p.m. is very important as well. So I need to include that. Where am I going to move my hour hand and minute hand on my clock? Exactly. I need to start at 8 o'clock a.m. So what I'm going to do is bring my hour hand back to the 8 and my minute hand back up to the top up here. This shows 8 o'clock, and we need to remember that is a.m. in the morning. Now I'm going to go around the clock, and each time I make a complete circle, that's going to be 1 hour. So I want you to count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 hours has passed. Now we could have easily counted that on our fingers too, starting at 8 and ending at 3, but you need to remember that our numbers here stop at 12. So we would have to count 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So whenever we're starting at a time in the morning and we're ending at a time in the afternoon, it's very important that when you're counting up, that once you get to 12, you're starting over at 1.